Time to spill the secrets.
This is Universal Secrets with Tiffany Mack and Kevin Hale.
It's Tuesday night. You know what that means.
It's hashtag Tiffany Tuesday. We got a new one for Universal Secrets. Let's see another one. We did. Hold on one second. It is not just hashtag Tiffany Tuesday. Did you just see it up here? All hail Tiffany Tuesday. Oh, dang it. It's all hail Tuesday. I almost got it right.
I came up with another one.
What was yours?
50 Shades of K. Hey.
Wow, Kevin, that's a good one.
I mean, it is, the candle game is strong.
Yes, that's a good one.
Rumor has it Pillow Talk is kind of strong too. I digress. Mm-hmm. Where the hell you been, Tiffany?
Where the hell I've been? I've been all over. I went to Dollywood. And I got to explore that area of Tennessee. You
did try to get on, come on the show. Now, I excused you because it was family time. I'm like, enjoy, spend time with your family. You happened to find your way on the show for a little bit, and your Wi-Fi was shitty, but it was good to see you. Jason, our guest Jason last week was on, and it's a good time.
I'm sure you guys had a good time. It was the boys' night.
Kind of boys' night, yeah. Kind of doing boys' things.
Yeah.
Universal Secrets on this Tuesday night, August 3rd, exclusively on our Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube channels. The video. Audio streaming on Earth Radio. Our friends Ron, Bobby, Andy, all those guys taking care of us with the audio.
It's good to have good friends.
It is. In high and low places.
Mm-hmm.
You sing that song?
I'm not going to.
Okay, not yet. Anyways, tonight, Tiffany, we do a show where the guest she's currently on KGRA, our former home. She does a very cool show on Sunday nights from 10 till midnight Eastern, because we're here on the Eastern time. Tracie Austin will be our guest in a few. But what has been up? What's been up with you? I know you don't need to go to the gory details, but I just, for the record, your daughter, Maddie Mack, she's fine.
She is fine.
Yeah.
Yep. She's a trooper. So we'll put it that way. We're still trying to figure out what the heck happened and how to fix it. She had a pretty bad vacation scenario.
Bad vacation
scenario. So we're just going to leave it at that right now. I think I traumatized most of the people yesterday online, so I think I got it out. But she's feeling okay. That's the good thing, and I'll let everybody know how she's doing over the next definitely week. Hopefully, we're hoping for miracles to happen. So, and I believe
you actually did a show last night, didn't you?
I did. Yes, Peter Robbins. It was a great show. We had a lot of good people on the panel. We were talking about the women's issues in abduction scenarios, and
pretty
since
deep,
we all
heavy.
had, it was, but it's therapeutic as well.
Of course. Yeah.
And so getting together with these women and having him sort of, he's very kind in the way that he asks his
He's
questions.
such a
And
good guy.
he is. So he makes it very comfortable for everyone to pour their heart out. And then, it's all out there and you just feel better. So it was good. And it's good to hear people like, Kathleen Martin and these women who have been in the field for so long, where
Right.
I'm a newbie and I'm just going through it with you and, with my family. So it's always nice to hear people that have been in the field for 30 years, 40 years, which sounds like a lifetime. And it really is when you talk about knowledge that is gained over that many years. So it's always good to talk to people who know their stuff and have dedicated their blood, sweat, and tears to finding peace in a difficult new era. So it was cool.
Very cool. Yeah. Very cool. Tracie Austin is our guest. I wanted, it's funny, right before the show, I was going online, getting ready, and one of the video that came on as I'm on YouTube was an interview with Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Nice.
So do we go? I want to know, is there a Stone Cold Tracie Austin in her?
No.
Do you have no? No.
No.
Just you don't get rattled. You don't get,
Well, sometimes.
No.
It depends who's rattling me. Put it that way.
Well, the night is young, so
the night is young. You won't rattle me. Don't worry, Kev. No. You'll be fine, and you won't either, Tiff. We're good.
We're not intimidating.
Yeah.
No, you're not.
No,
absolutely not.
She calls us Kev and Tiff. I like that.
Kev and Tiff.
That's you have permission.
Thank you. That's the Brit in me.
That's good. I like it. Tiffany, we didn't do this yet. Tracy, bear with us. Tiffany, roll call.
Okay. Let's see who we have here. We've got Andy Morrow. He was the first to check in at 7:30.
Andy.
Yes, Andy's right on top of it.
Tracy's going to know probably most or all these people. But
I would say she knows everyone. Yeah. And then there's Ron in there from Earth Radio, Bobby Burgess. Hey, Bobby. We've got Maria Duff, Charles Smar. Hey, Charles. Let's see. Genghis Khan, he chimed in. You know what? We're still waiting on Yuffie. We've got Genghis.
Very I don't know if you.
Who? Did I say? Yeah, did.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. We've got the clan here. So we are. Oh, there's Sherry. Cool. Yeah. So I'm sure everybody who's listening in right now, and of course there's other people out there in listening land that are checking in, and Queen Colleen and Erica and Natalie are out there. So
hi everybody.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks so much for doing this.
You're welcome.
You've got, I don't know, I'll just blurt it out. I don't mean no disrespect to anybody else when I say this, but you have one of the cool shows on KGRA. You have one of the ones, well, actually Sunday night. I'll as time allows from, and can keep in mind this is Eastern time, from 8 o'clock till midnight. I'll have the YouTube playing either on my phone or on my TV or something, in the background, because Alan B gives some love.
Yeah,
real good. And then Tracy. So Tracy, you're on a Sunday night. You're probably the last voice I'll hear, and that's probably not a bad thing.
That's nice.
But listen, I may be the last voice, but I'm not putting you to sleep, am I?
No, Ambien does. So.
Okay, well, thank God for that.
But you know what? That's a cool Sunday night. When I was younger, we used to have this routine in our household when we would watch Unsolved Mysteries. Remember back in the day, and it was like the best thing to watch on. And then I sort of got away from having those favorite shows, but now I have a whole new world of favorite shows, and they're live podcasts, and I love that. Yeah. And you're right, you can turn those suckers on and they can be in the background. You can just listen and go about your business and do your multitasking cleaning. That's the best thing, is still have, and then you have those, and then of course, okay, this is my thing. Maybe I'm the only one who thinks that I know these people personally. Like, I really don't know a lot of them personally, but like Giorgio Tsoukalos, I think I do. Okay. but I don't. I just know him from Ancient Aliens.
I mean,
But that is a staple in our
Right.
household. All of those paranormal shows,
right.
we're junkies. So your show is definitely one of those great shows.
Oh,
We
well, thank
appreciate
you.
that.
I really appreciate that. I do my best. I have done my best since race came my way. I mean, I've known Race since 2012. I met him at the Women's UFO conference in Glen Rose in Texas. And 2017, he messaged me and said, "Hey, you know, I want you as a host on the show." So starting January of 2018, there I was in a prime time spot that he had open, which is, 7 to 9 Pacific, 10 to midnight Eastern. And I said, "Okay, you're on. I'll do it." And I've been doing it ever since. But I did take about a year or so out because I was writing that third book, which took me forever and a day. And
We'll
I
show those
never
off,
thought
or
I'd
show them and talk about those as well. Yeah.
finish it,
3
but
books.
3 books.
Yeah, 3 books.
Yep.
I showed this comment, and I'll say it again. Andy, Yeti Mike Night. We're all doing blue.
Mine's black.
The mic. Oh, the mic. Okay, I see it now. Okay.
Yes.
It does
Yes, but
look
it is
okay.
the Yeti blue, the blue color.
Yeah, the Yeti blue is nice.
Yes.
Wait, maybe maybe it is black. Huh.
Yeah, this is black, this one.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
She's one upped us, Kevin.
Oh, no.
Well, I'm like I said, Tracie, I'm a fan. You
Thanks.
go into you obviously you know what the hell you're talking about, and you have some great guests to support the night and those conversations. Yeah, unlike for our show, I try to stay away from the proverbial bio monologue of a long ass bio. So give me the short and dirty on what is Tracie Austin.
The short and dirty of Tracie Austin. Oh, well, okay. Are we sitting comfortably? Then I'll begin. Well, my former life was a musician. I went to London in, when was it now? 1987, I think it was. Went to London to the Guildhall School of Music and Drama to train as a classical concert pianist. That was my life, and had been as a child. Since 8 years of age, I always I always knew what I wanted to do, and that was to be a musician. And so went through school, went through college, then went to London to the Guildhall School, and was there for 5 years, I think it was. And it all changed for me in 1987, really, because although I was set on this path to be this classical concert, it's 8 hours a day with my instruments. So it was a long, tedious day striving for perfection, really. And because that's what it is when you play an instrument and you're to that level of playing with orchestra, you strive for perfection. Well, they showed up, didn't they? And ruined it all. So, they showed up, and it's as if they said to me, "You're not going to go down this path that you think you're going to go down. You're going to go down this one, and you're going to find out what we're all about and what we do." And it's been full on since 1987.
Tell real quick, Tim. Tell us about what was that 87 experience or sighting or first time? Like.
So, she's gone. Oh, she's there. Yeah, the first, I don't know. I can't remember which way around it was because it was so long ago now. UFO sighting that was a thing where I was staying as a student with my other half at the time, 5+ years. He was a guitarist. And there's a row of window, standing by the window, and it's about 2:00 in the afternoon, and there's very few clouds in the sky. It's a beautiful blue sky day, And something grabbed my attention as I'm looking through the window. And I said, as you do in England, Andy Morrow will tell
Tracie, if you can hear us, you are cutting in and out quite a bit.
you with this.
Yeah.
Oh,
Just,
am I now?
kind of, sort of. I mean,
do you want to try to get
are
out?
you on the Ethernet or are you on wireless right now?
No, I didn't. I'm just on the normal Wi-Fi, but I've got full.
Usually this is you, Tiffany.
I know.
Big brother cutting in on you.
I know.
This
That's
is
what
very-
happens with UFO girls.
I mean, if I'm an alien,
This
I would
Try to abduct her. Kevin,
both of
stop
you.
being a pervert.
Both of you. I'm giving you credit too, Tiffany.
Did you see this? Did you see this? Bobby says Tracie probably never got the internet checked. Bobby, mind your manners.
I've put my Ethernet in, so I'm hoping.
Okay.
Touch wood. So we see this object. It's a cone-shaped object. Sunlight is glinting off it, but it's also moving in a clockwise motion. So he comes to the window. I said, "What the bloody hell is that?" He said, "It's a UFO." I said, "What do you mean? What do you mean a UFO?" So he told me.
You had no like at that point. You had no idea what.
No, it's
No,
like,
wait a
what are
minute.
you talking about?
But was this at your apartment or was this at school? Where was the location?
This was at the Barbican. It's like a YMCA kind of place for students.
Okay.
And we were talking, just having a regular conversation is when it showed up and caught my attention. So he said to me, "It's a UFO." I said, "Well, but what do you mean UFO?" And he told me, it's either come from another dimension, it's come from outer space or something. And I said, so I said, "Oh my God." I said, "Okay, well, we just watched it together move across the slope." And it went at the top and rounded it. That night, we watched it go out of view. Was seeing what we'd seen that day. It was absolutely phenomenal.
I wonder if she can get on her phone and try to check in from her internet on her phone.
Phenomenal.
Tracie, you are cutting out right now. She's
Really
totally frozen.
Yeah, it's almost
real quick. When's the last time you maybe rebooted your internet?
because we can take a break and we can let Kevin dance around or make up stories while you're gone.
I'm a good makeup story guy.
We make up a lot of stories. It's two truths and one lie tonight.
Yeah, just here. Bobby's spot on. She had problems.
Yeah, she had problems Sunday. That's right. Oh God.
Okay.
We liken some of these conversations to the conspiracy theorists and us. Big Brother's listening and wanting to shut this shit down. They don't want.
Yeah, they don't want to hear about the true stories.
Yeah. So.
Okay. Well, you look good right now. So so you were with your boyfriend or classmate and you saw this UFO. It was not in your realm of knowledge. You had not even considered what a UFO was or that it would be right above you. And how did that make you feel when your friend was saying, "Oh my gosh, this is legit. This is a UFO. What do you do?" Kevin?
How about those Cubs?
Yeah.
Tracie, your internet. Oh, we gotta figure this out. Or as Tracie said,
okay. So how about Tracie? Can you try to reboot your computer real quick and come back on? Yes.
Sure.
Yeah. And Kevin and I will make up stories about you while you're gone, and you can try to figure out how to defuse that bomb after you get back.
All the rumors will start, and then you'll come right back. Do your thing, Trace.
Okay, there we go. So
okay.
we'll try this again.
Mm.
Oh my gosh. Live radio was always the toughest part. When I did NPR, I didn't have to do live radio for the most part. What I did was I went out, I wrote the story. Yes, Sherry, I'm having a rough day, so Mama is having an adult beverage right now.
What are you drinking?
I have a shot of vodka with elderberry flower or elderflower and seltzer water, sparkling water. So I'm doing light, but it's gonna put Mama in bed later. So
see now you're freezing up.
See, I am.
Yeah, we're gonna keep talking because what I'm gonna do is while we're I need to get Trace or here. All right. So what I'm showing now is our QR code. What do they call it? QR code?
Yeah, QR code.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Humorous. We still need. We're still in the phase where we got to get our followers and everyone to jump on board with us. So by taking this picture, we'll take you to all of our links, all that good stuff. So.
Kevin, you worked really hard on that one, and I really enjoy the picture at the center. We've gone through multiple imagery that we've liked and had different ideas to help.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love how you did that. But if anybody looks at it closely at the bottom, it looks like just sort of like a notch, maybe like 6 o'clock. But it's actually a person walking inside, and it's like a portal hole, like a porthole on a spaceship. So I like that one a lot. We're still trying to figure out our contact at the compound logos and stuff like that. Yeah. So we're having fun with the artistic aspect.
Do I have that picture? I thought I did. So Tracie Austin is our guest. Tracy's having some internet connections issues on her side. Tiffany, she 87. I'm trying to think.
When did X-Files start? Do you remember that? 93
September.
So that was before UFOs really became super popular.
Before Leir's story really was captivating. In 87, I was 2 years out of high school at that point.
You were a baby then?
No, you were a baby.
No, I was a little baby. Look at this one. Look at this. Andy Morrow said, "Put Ron on wearing a blonde wig." Ron, where are you, buddy? Where's your wig? That would be awesome. And that might be
let me find something Andy did for us. They on their
we may have a visitor, guys.
Do we?
Let's see. She's back.
I'm back.
And you're a lot clearer too. Okay.
Oh, really?
Yes, you are.
Oh, good. Let's hope this works.
Okay. Crossing our fingers. We didn't tell too many weird stories. So.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
Okay.
No. We were just actually getting to the good parts, and then
really?
Back up. So.
I know that Andy Morrow will fill me in.
Well, we were just speaking about him too.
Okay.
He wants to put Ron on the show wearing a blonde wig to impersonate you.
Really? Go on, Ron. Do it.
That'll have to be for another day.
Speaking of Andy, I got to show you this. This is what Andy did. This is supposed to be you and Tiffany and I.
How cute is that?
Is that like a mohawk? I mean,
I love it. I love it. But it's like little tentacles or something for the bottoms of my hair.
It is actually.
And the red lips.
Like it could walk.
But they probably could.
Yeah, of course, the red lips.
Love it.
Cute.
Yeah.
Andy, that's fantastic.
So Trace, go back 87. You have your sighting. You said it was. How did you describe it?
It was a cone-shaped object, pointed at the top, rounded at the bottom.
About how large or size?
Oh God,
ballpark. Bigger than a bread box, smaller than a.
Oh yeah, I mean, we're talking what, like a bus We're talking like the size of a bus. But again, I don't know how far. I can't say how far that was over the city. It must have been quite a big object for me to see it, obviously, and the way the sun was glinting off it. And I'm always lousy with distance like that. I messaged my ex-husband a few days ago because we had a profound sighting in California, Studio City, when I first came over to the country, which I can tell you about, because I thought
Absolutely.
I thought that was 500 feet above me. No, it was 40 feet. So that I'll share that one with you a little bit later.
Yeah.
But this one with the cone-shaped object, we watched it go out of view. And then the next day we were going somewhere on the tube station, the underground tube station. I can't remember where it was we were going. But we came out the other end and there was a guy selling newspapers, the Evening Standard newspaper, which is the typical London newspaper. And my boyfriend at the time points to the front page and he says, "Look, there's our UFO." So I don't remember seeing a picture, but I do remember seeing the headlines, UFO over the city of London. So obviously we were not the only people to have seen that.
Did you keep that article?
Do you know what? I didn't at the time. Very stupidly, I didn't. No, I know. I could kick myself up the butt for not doing that.
Yeah.
But I'm sure it's somewhere in the archives, in the London newspaper.
Yeah, we could probably find that.
We'll probably find it. But it all happened from there. Everything UFO related happened from there. So
you've had multiple sightings with other people present.
Yes and no.
So
alone as well.
When you did have the ones that were with other people, how did that conversation go? Because I've never been with another person while I've had an experience that they could see also. So how did that validation of someone with you and being able to converse about it in that moment, how did that work? How did that make you feel better about the situation and more validated in your belief that you saw it? You really saw it?
Yeah, I mean, kind of. Yes and no. I mean, there's only a couple of people that I've been with when I've had a sighting. One was him, my partner, my boyfriend, all those years ago in the 80s, and my ex-husband. Both of these guys have seen things on their own before. They know that these things exist. It was me that didn't kind of relate to some degree. Mm-hmm. But then again, looking back when I was a child, things happened that was brought to my attention. When a lot of people have imaginary friends. I didn't have an imaginary friend as such, but apparently, according to Mary Rodwell, who I met many years ago at the Laughlin UFO conference, Mary's a terrific woman. Does a great job with the whole UFO abduction thing. She gave me some healing when I was in Laughlin, and that was in the 90s. And she said to me something very strange. And she said to me, "What happened to you when you were a 7?" And I said, 7. And I had to think about it for a minute.
Was she a psychic as well?
Well, I've never known Mary to be a psychic, but she seems to be on the sensitive, intuitive side.
Okay.
And so I said, "Tell me a little bit more." And she says, "Well, I have a little gray guy here. And this little gray guy is telling me that you don't remember him. And he used to talk to you and you used to talk to him." And it all sort of came back, even though I still can't physically see him standing there and me talking. I do know the conversations that I had. And when my mother would buy me clothes, which is like every week, me and my sister, I ought to have a photograph of this dress. I hated this dress. But now when I look back at it, I think that was cute. What do you mean you don't like it? It had got little flowers on it and it got daisies down the front.
That's
and
cute.
I remember it is cute. And I remember my mother brought it to me. I tried it on. And Tiffany, I was, 3 years of age. 3. And I'm saying to this thing, even though I don't see it there, "What do you think? Do you like this dress? What do you think? Should I keep it? Should I have it?" And I ended up keeping it. So obviously he liked it, whoever it was. But yeah, Mary brought that up very, very interestingly. And I'd kind of, it wasn't there in the forefront of my brain. So she brought all of that forward for me. And then when I've had astrological readings, they've said to me, what happened to you at the age of 7? So this keeps coming up. This theme comes up. So it's evidently been with me throughout my life. But there's been moments where maybe I've been blocked. So, but it all stemmed from 1987. Not only did I see that craft, but I also had the sighting of a headless ghost that was there in the Guildhall School of Music and Drama. We shouldn't really have been doing what we were doing in that school. And it's nothing rude. Let me say it's nothing rude right now. We were sitting watching a friend of ours demonstrate a hypnosis session in one of the practice rooms. And there were no windows in there at all. There were large velvet curtains that hung from the ceiling down to the floor. And there was a little tiny window like that was in the door so that you could have a peek through to see who was practicing so you didn't interrupt somebody. And in that room was a grand piano, a harpsichord. There was a wall full of mirror with a row of chairs by it, and then a row of chairs here and a row of chairs on the adjacent wall. And so one of our friends, Gary, who was a professional recorder player, did hypnosis as a side thing. And he said, I want to demonstrate this to you. So we decided to all go in this room, this practice room, one Friday night. And my boyfriend and I were watching what was going on. And he proceeded to hypnotize Howard, who was another classical pianist and a harpsichord player. And so he was walking around Howard and he was saying, I'm going to take you back to when you were, 5 years of age and you're sitting under a tree on a hill and you're getting sleepy and sleepy and sleepy until Howard fell back. Luckily, he caught him. Otherwise, he would have smashed his head on the floor. And he laid him down on the floor and Gary proceeded to walk around him. And I kid you not, there was something, well, at first I didn't know what it was, but something caught my attention sitting on the chair by the mirror. And when you do that double take and you sort of look and you look again, that's what I did. I did a double take. And there was a woman sitting on a chair in front of the mirror. And the mirror was there, by the way, for singers, for opera singers, so they could watch their breathing and everything. This woman was sitting on a chair. She had got modern day clothing, black high heels. She got beautiful, beautiful legs. I do remember that, thinking, oh my God, these are legs we women die for, beautiful, slender legs. She was wearing a black pencil skirt. She was wearing a white top and a black belt. The strange thing was nothing was seen above the shoulders. She had no head. And the weird thing about it was there was no reflection in that mirror at all.
Was this a place that had many hauntings, or was this, did it have any backstory to the place that you were in?
Well, I've never proceeded to investigate it simply because she got modern day clothing. She wasn't in period dress. So I didn't think to investigate it. But to me, it was like it could have been a student. It could have been a professor there at the school who perhaps had a very bad car accident, and the head was severed. I'm thinking that. But she was definitely modern day clothing. And as I said, I did that double take and I did it. And I thought, oh my God, my heart was beating out my chest. And she actually sat with her legs crossed. Her right leg was crossed over her left leg and her hands were clasped around her knees like this. And she was just watching what was going on in the center of the room. So I didn't want to nudge my boyfriend and say, look, look over there, because of disturbing the hypnosis session that was going on. So around about 9 o'clock, somewhere around there, we heard the caretaker coming to lock up the school. And so we all decided, we've got to go. So Gary brought Howard out of the hypnosis session, which I think, by the way, pulled this spirit in of this woman. I think because we were all so focused on what was happening in the room, the power of hypnosis and everything, I think it pulled her in completely because she was just looking straight ahead at Gary walking around Howard and hypnotizing Howard. So Gary brought Howard out of the hypnosis, and we got out of the room. And as soon as we got out of the school, my boyfriend said to me, "Did anybody see anything in there?" And I looked at him, and he looked at me, and we both said, "A woman by the mirror." So he'd seen it too.
Wow.
So he'd seen it.
So when you're this is funny, because I have been hypnotized before, or regressed, I guess I should say. And there is a different atmosphere when you're in that peaceful state, and I wonder if something sort of came through on a different level with all of those people listening and getting that sort of meditative state, because you're all witnessing the meditation and the hypnosis. So maybe it had to do with the minds and the spirits of the people that were there. Maybe there was something that drew that energy in. It's sort of an interesting experience.
Oh, it really was. And I think you're correct, Tiff. I really do. Because I don't know how it happened. I don't know how something like that works. I'm not a physics person. I don't know how those two worlds kind of collide with one another. But these things are around us all the time. And I've always said to people, there's really no such thing as the paranormal. It's normal. It's actually normal. You know, there are things around us all the time that are popping in and out. We live with, we're in the third dimension. There's things in the fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth that are in and out all the time.
And we're all spiritual beings.
We're all spiritual beings having a human experience.
Right.
Exactly. So I've never seen a ghost since that day. I would like to see another one. Probably not alone. But and thank God I wasn't on that day either. But many UFO sightings since. I mean, literally like a dozen.
But we were thinking about some questions that we wanted to ask you. We're going to have a little fun and games later. But one of the questions that popped into my head was, have you ever had a situation where you believed that you were speaking with a potential extraterrestrial or interdimensional being?
Yes.
Please share.
I thought you'd want to know about that.
We might want to know.
It was more of them talking with me more than me talking with them. Okay, so this now we jump from the let me start off with this, because this does involve this. I had a reading with an Ayurvedic astrologer back in 1996. Very nice man called Hart Defau, who lives in Canada. And he came over to England. And of course, with my partner at the time, my boyfriend, doing yoga and chanting and all that good stuff, Ayurvedic medicines and Ayurvedic astrology is part of that interest. And so it interests me too. So he said to me, Hart Defau is coming to the city of Bath. It's called Bath, City of Bath. Would you like to go and have a reading? I said, absolutely. I'm game. I love astrology readings, psychic readings. I'm always game. I'm always in. So we get on the train and we go to the city of Bath, and I meet Hart Defau. Now, Hart Defau gave me this reading. It's astrological and it's also palm. And he said to me, round about the year 2000, he couldn't be specific. He thought 2000, 2001. He said to me, you're going to have an initiation of something. I don't quite know what to call it. He said it's like a psychic event, a big psychic event. But you're going to have an initiation. Something is going to happen for you. And he said, it's not in this country. It's not in England. It's in the United States. And that's all that was really said about that. Well, long story short, I end up meeting my now ex-husband, and I moved from England to the United States in 2001. And so I'm there in a car with my husband at the time, and we'd just come from, you've probably heard of Jose Escamilla.
Yes, absolutely.
We were coming from Jose Escamilla's apartment in Studio City, the Rod Man, as he always was called. And God bless him, wherever he is up there. But I wanted to get home on time to see Crossing Over with John Edward, because I was a big fan of John Edward, the psychic medium. And he got a new show called Crossing Over. So we're on Studio City. We're waiting at the traffic lights, waiting for them to change. I got CBS Studios on my right side. I got McDonald's on my left. I got a bank building also next to CBS and a gas station. And so we're sitting there waiting for the lights to change. It was a Tuesday night, like tonight, November the 13th, 6:45 p.m. I remember it like it was yesterday. And we're waiting for the lights to change. And suddenly my husband said to me at the time, "Look at that plane. It looks like it's going to fall from the sky because it's too low and it's too slow." So I looked through the windscreen and I said, "Oh my God." I thought, yes, something is going to fall from the sky and crash. I said, but wait a minute, because 2 lights then changed into 3. So a third one came on in the middle. I said, this is not a plane. This is not a plane. And we need to pull over to the gas station and wait for this thing to come over. And so I kid you not, we pull onto the gas station and woof, this thing was right over our car so fast.
2001, right?
2001.
Okay.
Now, I'm not thinking back to Heart de Fao at this moment because I'm totally in the moment. Mm-hmm. This was an elongated diamond shape, and it was triangle at the front and it was boat-tailed at the back. So if you can imagine that, and it was jet black. And my husband and I put the windows down on the vehicle, and I kid you not, we were hanging out the car, looking up at the understructure of the craft. Right.
How big were we talking about?
How big?
Bigger than a TR3. Just rule that out. You know, anything man-made that you...
Bigger.
Okay.
Bigger than a TR3. Yeah, it was very big. I thought it was about 500 feet up. I'm totally clueless when it comes to distances and things like that. And as I said, I messaged my ex-husband a few days ago because it was playing on my mind. And he said, no, Tracie, it wasn't 500 feet. It was 40 feet. My ex-husband's an ex-military.
You're saying the distance was just 40?
Yes,
or the
40.
Side?
No, above the car, 40 feet above the car.
That's freaking close.
Yes. If I'd have had something hard in my hand, I could have thrown and hit it.
And you thought you were hitting like 500 feet.
Yes. What was I thinking? I was some kind of
spectacular
Olympic thrower.
Yes, Olympic. Well,
that would be a world record if you could shot put something.
Yes.
500.
Yes.
I wouldn't be sitting here today, would I?
Well, I'm a swimmer, so I think of meters. I'm like, how many Olympic sized pools am I away from that? That's how I think.
That's right.
It's very difficult when you get into a rhythm, and that's the rhythm that you know. That's how you relate.
I know. In fairness, though, you're looking up. How in the hell are you really rationalizing, distance and stuff? Because you're seeing something that you don't see every day.
That's right.
And then when you see it, then you all of a sudden you're like, WTF? What the fuck is this thing?
And he's probably thinking it's like 4-story building above us. Whereas you weren't thinking military? That way.
He's ex-military. Yes, okay. He was in Desert Storm.
No offense, Tracie. I'll trust his measurements.
No, listen. I know it ended in divorce, but he is very intelligent when it comes to something like that. I will say that.
That's not what did it. His measurements.
That's not what did it. No. But we had.
Damn it! It was 500 feet. No, it was 40.
40. 40.
My husband's a pilot, and he's like, he can gauge it because he knows what is supposed to be flying at what altitude and when. So I'll listen to him as well. I think you're right with that.
There you go.
Yeah.
So what was underneath this craft was first of all, a V formation of coal white lights. Okay. And around the craft itself, this elongated diamond shape, the only way I can say it, is like a piping that went around the craft so that you could see the sky through it. So there was piping, there was a space where you could see the sky, and then the solid object.
Interesting.
Yeah, and it was only 6:45 p.m. at night. Now, I've only spoken to one other person who has had a sighting of a craft that had piping. I call it piping.
November, right? Didn't
November
you say
13th.
So it was dark at that point. It was probably dark.
Yeah, it was winter. I mean, it was only 6:45 p.m. It wasn't
it was still
like midnight, but
it wasn't bright outside.
Wasn't bright, no.
Right.
We had our hands on the door handles of the vehicle to get out and stand underneath this thing. We wanted to go aboard. We both wanted to go aboard. Wasn't there long enough, 10 seconds. And it did this amazing turn that I say to this day, Steven Spielberg would have a hard time recreating how this thing moved because it was so magical. I've got no words to explain it. I'm dumbstruck. I've got no words to explain it at all, the way it moved. And it went off over CBS Studios, and it didn't bank like a plane. It didn't even glide.
This
was
is
very
in LA? Where is
yeah,
this?
this is in Studio City.
Okay. Now I got to ask some of the obvious questions. 6:45 LA.
Most people aren't looking up. They're looking ahead of them, though.
Okay, but in fairness, it's still LA. You can't be probably the only one looking at a McDonald's.
That's right.
There's got to be a few other people.
Yeah, well, this is what we kept saying, because Studio City is a busy road.
Right.
There's always traffic going down there. It's on Radford Street. CBS is on Radford Street, so that's where it was. There's always traffic. So, but our attention wasn't on anybody else at this time. It was on what was above us, what we were seeing. And so I said to my husband, quick, put the engine on. We need to follow it, because it went off over CBS Studios, and it went in that direction over CBS Studios. So we started the engine. We turned around, and every time we came to a traffic light, it was a red light the whole time. We eventually lost it over the LA River. So I said, we got to turn back. We got to go back to the guard shack at CBS Studios, because somebody had to have seen that craft in the CBS Studios. So we turned around. We went up to CBS Studios. He dropped me off. He parked the car. I went first of all, and I knocked on the door. And a female guard came to the door, and I said, she looked at me like, who are you? What are you doing here, kind of thing. And I said, excuse me. I said, have you just seen something really odd fly over your building? And she said to me, odd? What do you mean, odd? And I thought, oh God, I've got to say it. And I said, my husband and I just had a UFO sighting over our car, and it flew off over your building over CBS Studios. And she said, oh my God, a UFO? Come in. She pulled me in. She put a pen and a piece of paper in my hand. She had me drawing this thing. And she said, I can't believe you just, I said, honest to God, my husband will be here in a minute and he will validate what we've just seen. She says, well, we wouldn't be able to see it from inside here, because look at the window. Right. It's anti-reflective. So you can only see yourself. And it was like a bronzy color. And she said, and look at the property. It's full of trees on the property. And of course, CBS Studios is full of trees. Mm-hmm. So at this point, my husband comes up, and we're making such a commotion talking about this. Another guard comes over and says, what's all the commotion? We said, we had just had a situation here. Yes. Yes, right. We've got a couple of 2 sandwiches short of a picnic here. So anyway, he said,
"Are we being pranked?"
I know.
Where's the hidden camera?
Ashton Kutcher. Camera. Did he even do those back in the day? All right,
I don't know. No,
I don't know. But anyway, the guard said, "You know what? I believe you." He said, "I used to be a pilot in Missouri, and we used to chase these things." He says, "Not what you've seen tonight, but huge orange balls of light in Missouri that would go over the mountain ridges, stop, wait for us to catch up over the mountain ridges." And he said, we'd be doing this. We'd be having a game of cat and mouse, and we could never, ever, ever keep up. He says, so I believe your story completely.
That's
Missouri's a
amazing to
hot
meet
spot,
somebody.
right?
That's
Yeah.
It's
amazing.
pretty hot,
That's
yeah.
amazing to hear that while
Yes.
you're right after your sighting. That's validating.
It's validating. Yeah.
I gotta. Let me throw this at you, Tracy.
Yeah.
For the record,
Throw it.
no. You were sober. I guess that's the best way to.
Absolutely
answer.
sober.
Okay, just making. I mean, okay.
Of course, I divorced my husband for other reasons that were to do with alcohol, but we were both sober at that point at 6:45 p.m. I don't drink other than a cocktail here and there with a dinner here and there. I
hear you drink coffee.
I do.
Let's see what kind of
Come on,
coffee
cheesy
you
plug there.
drink.
Come on.
I
Here we go.
have to plug it, don't I?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Well, Attitude Coffee by Craft Roasting have given me my very own super duper blend of coffee called the Queen's Beans.
I love that. Is
Yes.
it double calf?
It is, well, actually, it's an American premium blend with a proper British twist.
Nice. Does
And-
it come with a lemon with it, or
You can have whatever you like, lemon,
Okay.
honey, whatever you like. And we've had some really great reviews on this coffee.
Mm.
And I'm waiting to get the approval to sort of have a little quote from somebody that's in a well-known band who also bought the coffee and gave great reviews on this. So I can't talk about it until I've got the okay to talk about it. I'm just waiting for that. But people love it. So
Good.
because they're watching me live on your show tonight, I'm going to give them 10% off.
holy moly? What's
Yeah,
your promo
that's-
code? Give us a promo code for
promo
today.
or just
All you do is you go on to attitude.coffee, you look for the purple label, the royal purple label. And you'll see the Queen's Beans by Tracie Austin, and you just plug it in and voila, you've got 10% off.
That's awesome. I will
So-
definitely have to do that tonight.
Yeah,
I always
so
get.
cheers.
I spend so much money on this show. It's ridiculous. I love all of the people, all of the authors. Now I've got to
do.
get some coffee. Yeah.
Yes.
She's our residential book nerd.
Yeah.
I'm
I
waiting on
am.
the Tracy. No offense, your 3 books, and we're going to talk about those in a minute.
Yeah,
Let me know when they're in video. I'm right there.
I will. Do you know what? We haven't even fizzled out on this video yet. We're staying put.
I
Thank
know.
God.
Thank God. We got it.
Thank God. But yes, to answer your question, Tiff, when you said, did you have I don't know whether it was your question, Tiff, or Kev's, but to have communication, yes, I did from this object. And I didn't know it till we got home. Because when we got home, I said to my husband, you go in one room and draw this thing, and I'll go in another and draw it. And we both ended up with identical drawings. So I then sat down and I went on New Fork, the National UFO Reporting Center, and I reported it on Peter Davenport's site. It wasn't until a year later, just quickly going ahead, it wasn't until a year later I heard of 2 people who had also seen that object. I'm standing there at the magazine stand in Studio City buying UFO magazine, and the guy who I'm about to give my money to, yes, you have got to get you and Tiffany some of that coffee.
That's
Colleen.
That's Tiffany's mother, by the way.
Oh, nice to meet you, Colleen.
That's Queen Colleen. By
Queen
the way.
Colleen.
Colleen.
Yeah.
Yes. Queen
That's-
Colleen, you need some of the Queen's coffee.
Yeah, I got to keep talking. I'm just going to share this, but keep talking.
Okay.
Tracy.
So reported it to Peter Davenport, and basically at this magazine stand buying this magazine, and the guy I'm about to give my money to looks at me like I'm crazy, and I have to say, yes, that's right. I had this sighting of this craft, this elongated diamond shape, just last year over that building over there, over that bank building. And he says, I heard something about that. So that was the first one. And then somebody I worked for at the time, her husband had heard somebody talk about it on a radio show. And then someone else I heard had the sighting. So it was sighted not just by us 2. Well, it wasn't until I was home drawing this thing that I realized it had communicated with me. And what it said to me was, first of all, they were just looking. and they didn't mean us any harm. There were 3 of them on board. What I heard was a male's voice telling me this, and that they were from the star system, the Pleiades. That's what I heard. So a year later,
Did you feel like you were able to communicate anything to them? Do you feel that they were able to get inside your brain a little bit and maybe pick around and see, oh, she's seen this one, she's seen that one, and now maybe we can trust her enough to show her more in the future?
I think they already knew who I was, to be
Good.
honest. I think they already knew of my background, so to speak, and what I've known and what I've done. And they said they were from the star system, the Pleiades. So I didn't realize that until I'm drawing it, that I had the communication. Well, a year later, that's when I started the TV show in California, from the TV studio in Santa Clarita, Let's Talk Paranormal. And I had on the show Cassara, Christine Dennett. She goes by the name of Cassara, who is Preston Dennett's sister-in-law.
Oh, we had him on recently. We love
Yes,
Preston.
he's
Oh my
lovely,
gosh.
isn't he?
Yes.
He's lovely. Yeah, I love
Yeah.
Preston too. I really do.
Oh.
But Cassara is an artist, and boy, is she did all the artwork in my books, my 2 books. Phenomenal. And what she does is she sits down with people who've had encounters with beings, abductees, and contactees, and she draws with precision the beings that these people have encountered. And I was gobsmacked, and I said to her, I'm putting you on the spot right now, Cassara, but I had this sighting last year. I told her what the craft looked like, but I didn't tell her who was on board or what I'd been told. I said, I want you to draw me who was on board that craft. Well, do you know, she drew 3 beings. She drew a male, a female, and she drew some 7-foot tall being with some cloak that it was wearing. It had like a gray alien face to it. So I was told there was 3 on board. I heard a male's voice. So I don't know. She nailed basically what I was told. She even drew the little epaulets on their uniforms. So it was.
Have they matched
pretty
up?
cool.
Have you tried to match them up to anybody else's description throughout the years? Have you come across anything similar to it?
No, I haven't. I haven't matched them up at all, Tiff. I just, put the drawing away. I'd get it out every once in a while. And I thought, well, if I come across somebody who's seen the same kind of thing, the 7-foot tall being, yes, people have always explained, they've encountered a taller being. These greys just aren't small little guys. There are the larger ones too, as you know. And of course, the Pleiadians are blonde hair. Well, she drew them with blonde hair. She drew them with blonde hair. So for me, she nailed it for me.
Tracie Austin, or I was just like Tracie Austin, our guest tonight. People, check us out. Is a guy. I'm kind of digging the scenery here tonight. Just saying.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Tiffany. Carry on.
So what I've noticed, and this is, I'm a newbie, right? This has been something that I've been involved with for 5 years, but a lifelong contactee. This world is still new to me. But what I have recognized in a lot of people is that the contactees tend to have special gifts, whether they're artistic or whether they're musicians. Have you noticed throughout your time in this field, have you noticed that that's more the norm?
It really is, yes. Musicians, artists, actresses, dancers, anybody that's got a creative, side to them seems to be it. They are, they are looking for those kind of people. But I mean, then I've spoken to people who have been firefighters who had, a very sensitive side as a firefighter and had seen the craft, but not just the craft, but the being looking through the portal of the window. And that was a guy I spoke to at the Laughlin UFO conference in the 2000s. So yes, in the norm, musicians, artists, creative people in general, but there are those other people out there who've got different kind of careers, but have got that sensitive side to them that have also experienced things. And, a dear friend of mine who we lost in 2014, Dr. Roger Leir, he was such a great, great guy. I met him in England in 1999 and we became really good friends ever since. And Roger wrote a section in that book for me, Alien Encounters in the Western United States, about alien implants. He allowed me to be present at the removal of one of these objects at one of the surgeries.
Oh, wow.
And I was...
That's really special.
Yeah, I was mind blown. I would never have believed it had I not have seen it with my own eyes. And it was from the forearm of a American Airlines stewardess.
Oh shit!
Yes.
How did she think that this?
Well, I heard this from the horse's mouth. It's not like I heard it, second hand, third hand, fourth hand. I heard it from her mouth because Roger very kindly asked me if, well, he didn't kindly ask me. He asked me, would you like to see it? I said, oh my God, yes. You're the person that's being kind, letting me see it. So at the time, I've got to, my ex-husband was filming it for Roger so that Roger could show it at symposiums and things like that. And I just really was there to watch and talk to her. Mm-hmm. So we're in the room. There's Roger, there's another doctor, my husband at the time filming it for Roger and me just watching. And she said to me, I asked her how all this came about. She said, well, at the time she was with her boyfriend I can't remember the hotel. I think, and I don't even remember where it was, whether it was somewhere in California or somewhere completely different. But she's in the hotel room with her boyfriend and they both had a feeling to go to the window. They went to the window and she said, and what we saw was a object, a disc with flashing lights all the way around it. And she said, and as we were watching it, something else odd happened. A ball of blue light passed through the closed window and it came into the hotel room. And we watched it for a moment. She said, the next thing we remember, it's morning. And we get up, we start to have our chats, conversations and get breakfast and shower and all the rest of it. And she says, I turned to him and I said, wait a minute, do you remember what happened to us last night? Because we were told to go to that window and we saw a craft outside the window with the flashing lights. And then a ball of blue light came in. And she said, he didn't want about it at all. It freaked him out. She said, in fact, that was the last time I ever saw him ever again. There was no messaging nothing, no calls, no nothing. No, nothing. I never saw him ever again. He just ran. It scared him that much.
Who is this again?
This was the airline stewardess's boyfriend. Yeah. So she says she's in the shower that morning and she says, and I'm showering and I feel this lump in my right forearm. And she says, and I thought to myself, wow, this is very strange. I didn't have this yesterday. So she didn't think anything of it. She kept it in her forearm for 20 years.
I have a similar story.
Well, I'm curious because she's this airline stewardess, right?
Yeah.
Did this, going through the airport, did this not get,
it's probably too tiny.
No, because now wait for it, Kev. Wait for it. Because you're jumping the gun now.
All right, stay in process, Kev.
Stay in process. Yes. So she said, she kept it in her arm for 20 years. And she says, and I saw Dr. Roger Leir on a TV documentary talking about UFOs and abductions. She said, and I thought to myself, I just wonder if that's what I have. So she tracked Dr. Roger Leir down. And of course, his practice used to be in Thousand Oaks in California. And so they met. He puts his people through, whoever the patients are that have these objects and say that they've, had a UFO experience or whatever. He will then put them through some kind of test to make sure that they are sane, that they're not crazy, that they're intelligent. And of course, she passed all of that. That was fine. And she said, then, he said, do you want an X-ray? Let's do an X-ray to see what it is. He said, because that's very odd. I don't think it's a cyst in your forearm because you can move it. So they did the X-rays and everything, and it came back that this thing was not metallic. It was biological.
Whoa, hold on. What? Well, when you say move it, like you're talking about, like how much are you talking about moving?
She could push it up her arm.
I could do
Like,
that with mine.
Whoa, like give me.
I could do that. Mine
Yeah,
could move also.
You're giving me
Really?
a visual, but for the people who have listened to this, give us what's the example? Push it like
Using a finger, using your finger on your
Yeah.
forearm and pushing it upwards. You can push it. It's not attached to tissue.
That's how mine was, and it felt like a
Really?
Benadryl. It felt like one of those little Benadryl tablets. That's what
Yeah.
it felt like. So I had it removed because I couldn't. I woke up one day when I was getting ready to leave Greece. So I was getting ready to leave my job with the DoD. And I woke up and there was suddenly this little, what felt like a Benadryl underneath my skin, and it was moving around.
Oh,
And I was
my
like,
God.
okay, this is too weird. I don't know what it is. I don't know where it came from. It doesn't hurt. It's just odd that it moves. And I found out that my dog had a microchip that could not be read by the Greek vets or the American vets. And it would move around, and it felt like a little Benadryl.
Really?
hell is
And
going on here?
And I had that
Whoa.
dog. I had that dog for almost 19 years. She outlived most animals that ever came out of that region, out of Greece. And she's buried in the backyard. God rest her soul.
Oh.
Like your
but-
backyard?
She's buried by Bigfoot people. And I'm thinking at some point, that microchip, we might have to dig that little cute little doggy up.
Oh, boy.
And I'm
Could
joking.
you use,
I'm
what do you
joking,
call
people.
those things that you on the ground?
I'm
What do you
joking.
call that? I know, but what
The
do you call
metal
that?
detector.
Would it go off?
Probably. Yeah. But she had 2 microchips, and the Greeks don't microchip animals, and they couldn't read it. So what the
Wow.
heck? We both found out that we had a microchip, some sort of, and that, this was not even in the realm of my understanding. That stuff didn't really exist to me. So hearing you say this about another person is like, holy crap, people.
Yeah.
I'm just shocked.
Well, that's not all, because when they went in, when they arranged to have the surgery and we were there, they lifted her arm up, like a tent to go in and grab this thing. This thing shot up her arm by itself. Like, no, you're not going to get me.
Tracy.
I believe it.
That sounds. Now here's the thing. People who really watch, and I'm just saying, people know. I don't automatically, jump both feet in on every story I hear. Like it's end all be all. I kind of have to pump the brakes every now and then. But that is saying there's intelligence, clearly intelligence there.
Clearly.
Okay.
And Dr. Leir, when had so many of these. This is not.
That's right.
This is not a one-off scenario. People, this is happening.
That's right. I mean, he removed 17
Yeah.
alien implants from people's bodies up until the time of his crossing over. But I witnessed that for myself, shooting up her arm. So they had to cut even further into this poor woman's arm to grab this thing out. And when they got it, it was the only way I can describe it. And Dr. Roger Leir describes it the same way. Of course, it was in 2 halves. It was like a clam, and it had a black strip that ran right down the middle of it. It was the most craziest thing. And so, like he does with all of the implants, whether they're biological or whether they're metallic, he actually puts them into a little vial. And he stores them inside body fluids belonging to the person, and he refrigerates them for about 24 to 48 hours to see if there's any change. And then they're sent to different laboratories to be tested. And there's like 5 different laboratories in and out of the country that these objects were sent to. And there's no known isotopes in them. What's strange about this is she actually said the same thing like all other abductees say, and that is She felt a whole sense of freedom when this thing was removed. A whole new sense of freedom is how she put it. And so
freedom is in like, her mindset, or I mean, what,
she felt like she was, Kev, she felt like she was under some control.
Okay.
Is that common? Did y'all discuss that? Is that a common feeling among people with
It's a common
implants?
feeling. Yes, it's a common feeling. It's been said time and time again that they feel like a whole new sense of freedom is what the phrase is. Yeah.
Now,
But
here's the question. If this was, and I'm asking this is just asking all due respect, if this was truly an alien implant that was implanted by aliens, clearly they would know, right? If you had it removed,
they do know, they are aware.
All right. So help me understand what would the alien reaction be if one of their devices that they've implanted into someone was discovered and removed? What's the next?
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, there is a case like that in the book, Alien Encounters in the West United States, that I wrote about, where she was able to obviously have the implant removed. It was in the calf of her leg, and Dr. Roger Leir removed it. Now, she said to me during our interview, they get totally, in their own way, pissed off when you have these things removed, because they are telling you are not to have these removed. You have to keep it in your body. And that they're only going to plant another one, and they'll place it somewhere that you cannot have it removed. And that's what they did with her, not the airline stewardess, but the patient in the book. And they, I think they placed it inside her ear and can't get it removed. She can't have it removed.
She can't because they can't find, or what?
It's too far in the ear. I think it's right at the back somewhere, sort of like at the bottom of the cranium. They can't remove it because of where it's positioned.
Okay.
Yeah, a little bit like I think Whitley Strieber also had an implant in his ear.
Is this the book? Right?
Yes, Alien Encounters, and that cover, by the way, is based on a real investigation that I did in England.
When you shared that with me, I'm like, I did a double take. I'm like, what the hell's going on here?
That's right. See, you did that double take too.
That looks very similar to a sketch that I drew of an experience that I witnessed. If you'd like to hear the story, I don't know if.
Yeah.
Okay. Here, remove that. How do you take that down?
Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
So back when I was first beginning to have experiences, I had a situation where I awoke from sleep, and I suddenly was in another space. Like I was looking into it, what looked like the inside of an operating room.
Tiffany, give us an error, because you've shared with people the kind of the timing about when was this?
This probably was around 2018.
So after you realized that
we're having experiences,
yeah.
But this is more of like almost like a remote viewing situation where my consciousness was aware of looking into what would be inside of maybe a craft or a more sterile environment. It was a dark space, but there was like a surgery light above this table. And I remember this gray coming right in front of me, his big eyes and coming directly in front of my view. And he said, "You're not supposed to be here." And I remember thinking, "Oh crap, I just got busted." But I was really thinking, okay, I'm sorry. I don't know how I got here. I don't know how I'm here. Would you mind if maybe I just watched? I won't say anything. I won't do anything. I won't move. Maybe just let me be a witness. And he said, okay. So he gets out of my way, and I see this woman, human woman, being brought in naked, laid down on the table, and I see her from her head, and her body was out beyond, laying down her feet away from me. And I remember thinking, this is interesting. They had all of these little, and the only way I can relate it was like these little worker bees. And they were just these little grays working down towards her feet and then down towards her abdomen. And the light is over top, and it was really bright. And she wasn't doing anything. There was no reaction whatsoever. And it didn't look like there was anything, she didn't look like she was actually physically there in her mind. She was there physically.
Mhm.
And so they did what they were going to do with her, and they got her up, walked her out, and then they brought in a man naked, laid him down same way, working down near his feet and then working down near his abdomen. And then they got him up and walked him out. And the being came back in and said, are you going back or are you staying? And I was like, I think I can take my leave. And that was it. And it was just snap, gone. It wasn't anything that I'd had an experience with. So I literally laid in bed and thought about it and thought, what the hell just happened?
Yeah.
Because it was very different from the other kinds of experiences that I'd had. And it was a bit confusing, but super cool. I was like not scared. I was sort of turned off emotionally as well. And that may have been for some kind of safety reason, for all I know. But people, when they experience something from another dimension or entities that are extra dimensional or extraterrestrial, there's a feeling that you get, and you know deep inside of you that was real, that was
That's right.
weird, and I don't know how to explain it.
Mhm.
And I think that some people get so frightened by the experience that they turn it off and they
That's right.
throw it to the back of their brain so that
They
they
do.
can function and go through the day normally. It
Yep.
is very difficult for someone to experience these what I call nighttime visitations. It's difficult to do the normal things once you start having those, because if you have half a brain, you're going to start think about it, and it interferes with your daily life to some
That's
degree.
right.
And it takes a long time for you to process. So all of these people that you are seeing, you are there with a person who is going through a type of trauma. There's a lot of confusion. So what was the most significant part of your career that just made you think, man, we're getting tagged? There's something going on here. We're getting tagged.
I think it was that moment in the surgery with Dr. Roger Leir and the other surgeon, removing this thing, because as I said, I would not have believed it if I hadn't have seen it with my own eyes. I wouldn't have believed it that this thing came out of her forearm. And what's odd that Dr. Leir said at the time was all those that he's removed from the left-hand side of the body, whether it's been in the back of the hand, the forearm, the leg, they've all been on the left-hand side. But the one that she had, the biological, was on the right-hand side of the body. Now, I don't know if there's something to that, but it was a comment that Dr. Roger Leir made at that time.
Is she left-handed? Because people are predominantly right-handed. So
no, she's right-handed.
Okay.
Right-handed, yeah. Yeah. So it was very intriguing, very strange. And I think that was that moment for me that I thought, holy crap, this is a alien implant. This has got nothing, that's no known earthly isotopes in it whatsoever. And the metallic ones have deep space radio waves in them. They're highly magnetic and deep space radio waves. And they are pieces of meteorite.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how does a piece of meteorite get in somebody's body and you can't find the portal of entry?
Right.
How does
the other
that
thing.
happen?
Yeah.
Share, we recently had Terry Lovelace on, and he's going to be here with us in October. Tiffany, some of his stories, how you remember how relate to what we're hearing now?
Terry's story is really interesting because there was such a big military influence, and he was pretty much gag ordered and silenced after that. And the person that he was with during the first visitation that he had, they were best friends, and then all of a sudden they were not allowed to speak to each other, and they pretty much cut that
Right.
relationship, nipped it in the bud.
Mhm.
And when we talk about people being ostracized, stigmatized, and traumatized, there's all of this that goes along with it. Terry has documentation on multiple implants, and sort of got the upgraded 2020 version, or 2019, 18, I can't remember. It might have been 2017 updated technology. The
Mhm.
old technology was removed, vanished overnight, and then the new technology was replaced, and it was teeny tiny, but they can still see it in
Right.
the medical exams. So what was after that point in your life? Where did that take you? Because that had to be a big impact. Where did that take you with your investigations and your artistic and
Um,
writing?
well, at that time, I mean, I got the TV show, Let's Talk Paranormal. And so I continued with that for 6 years. We won 3 Tally Awards for the show, which was awesome. One of which was on alien implants with Dr. Roger Leir in the studio. So that was great. But I still had sightings, still continued to, go to the UFO conferences and writing the books. Alien Encounters in the Western United States was written in 2012. Welcome to Haunted Las Vegas, Nevada was written in 2009. And then this current one, I Survived Beyond and Back, that came out this March. It's about near-death experiences. And in the back of that book, I also write about the communication with my dad in spirit.
Oh, wow.
Yep, I've had continued communication for 3.5 years since my dad crossed over. It's been phenomenal.
Wow.
And I have to say, I know Tony Rathman is watching the show tonight.
Yes, saw it.
Yes, my good friend Tony Rathman and Cherie. If it
Yeah,
wasn't
real
for
quick, give them a shout. Those two are not only the cool, two of the most beautiful people.
yes,
Uh,
they
and
are.
their show, I'll give it up. So badass, so badass.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Well, I was talking to Race about them. I think that's why Race, I said you need to think about having them, on your station, because the work that they do is so fantastic. And it was Tony, really, who, when he built the Evox, that helped me get a message from my dad that I never thought I'd get, because my dad was always very, very skeptical. He was a big skeptic about the afterlife. Once you die, that's it. You're dead. You're gone. The lights are out, so to speak. He passed in November of 2017. I started to get communication in April of 2018 whilst living in Las Vegas. And how it all, if you want me to share the story of how it all came about. Let's see. So my dad passed November the 20th, 2017. And we moved house in December. We went to a bigger home, so we had to buy more furniture. And so we purchased a great big bookcase, because I used to have lots of books sent me when I did the TV show, so that I could have the authors on the show to talk about their books. So I'm putting the books on this bookcase on the shelves, and I came across a book I hadn't seen before. And it was called Into the Light, written by a doctor in Texas, Dr. John Lermer. And he's got patients in these 2 care hospices that are getting ready to die. And what the book is about is what these people see 3 to 5 days before passing, which is deceased loved ones and angels. And so I thought to myself, why have I never read this book? And I opened it up and I still had the letter in from the publisher, and it was dated 2007. So 10 years later, I discover I've got this book, and I don't know how I got the book, and I never read it. So I thought, I'm going to read that. So I started to read it, and I went in the guest bedroom one night to read it because it was lovely and peaceful and quiet. And my fiance went into the master bedroom to watch TV. So I'm reading this chapter about an elderly lady named Mildred who had stomach cancer, and she knew that she wasn't coming out of the care hospice alive. And so the doctor pops by to see her one morning in her room, and she says, Dr. Lerma, she's about 76 years of age, and she said, Dr. Lerma, I have a couple of questions I need to ask you. He said, okay, Mildred, what's your question? She said, well, can you tell me why I'm seeing deceased loved ones in my room? And he said in the book, I didn't want to alarm her. I didn't want to speed up the process of her dying. So I simply said to her, you know what, Mildred, you probably did. But it's a little bit like me coming to see you every morning and popping by and just checking on you. That's probably what your loved ones that have crossed over are doing, just to check on you. She said, okay. She says, but let me ask you a second question. Why am I seeing angels? And he said, well, can you tell me what they look like? She says, well, they always stand in that corner over there. They reach the height of the ceiling, which I imagine in a care hospice can be no bigger than, 9 feet? Probably. 10 feet? Yeah. She said they're thus wide, and they illuminate all this beautiful bright white light internally outward. And it's a little bit like a light bulb, she said. And she said, they said to me inside my head, Mildred, we cannot communicate with you unless you communicate with us. You have to initiate the communication. Good. She said, so I did. And we had a conversation. Now, when I read this, I was dumbfounded. I was gobsmacked that, oh my God, she had communication. So I said out loud, oh my God. I sat back on my chair and I said, oh my God, I would love to have communication with my angels. I would love to have communication. Boom, the light went out. I thought, what did I just do? What did I do? So I sat there for a moment. I thought, I wasn't afraid or anything because I've been used to weird things all my life. But I sat there and I waited. Nothing happened. So I looked at the clock on the bedside table. It said 10 p.m. I thought, well, it's kind of getting late. I'll put the book away and I'll read it tomorrow. I get up off the chair. I hadn't walked halfway past the bed. Boom, the light came back on. So I thought to myself, okay, somebody wants to talk to me. So I scooted right up to the bed. I looked up to the light and I said, I don't know who you are. I don't know whether it's you, my angels. I don't know if it's you, Dad, trying to communicate with me. But thank you for doing that, because I know that is that's really hard work to do. And it takes a lot of energy to do that. So thank you so much for doing this tonight. And I said, please feel free to visit me again. So I switched off the light, closed the door. We always close the door to that guest bedroom because we have cats, and we didn't want the cats going into the room and, hiding under the bed. So we'd always keep that door closed. So I didn't tell my fiance about this for a good few days because he was kind of a skeptical person. Everything, because he's a businessman and he's business minded, everything is black and white. It has to be black and white. There's no gray area. I thought,
Tracie, in all fairness, I'm going to defend my fellow brother.
Oh, okay.
You say skeptical.
Right. Well,
I don't say necessarily skeptical. I mean, okay. I'm agnostic. I'm science and realistic. You got to convince me. Right.
Right. Well, it does change.
Okay, keep going.
Your brother changes his mind.
And here's the thing too, Tiffany. Damn it, the more we talk about this kind of stuff, the more I'm just agnostic. I don't know. But you guys kind of reel me in a little more,
right,
with these stories. So,
well, Kevin, we have so many guests on.
I mean, no disrespect. I'm just, I know, but I gotta still. It's still.
Look,
here's
Mulder.
the problem. You guys witness it. I'm in the room with you all. I won't see this shit. I'll look in the sky, and Tiffany, you would say, look at that thing. It's shining on us, Kevin. And I won't see because I'm not wired. There's a connection you all have. I don't.
Well, hopefully you get a radiation burn instead.
Well, never say never. Yeah.
Never say never.
Yeah. Never say never.
If you got a radiation burn from something you didn't see, would you believe that it was happening? Would you believe it's real?
That would be some type of evidence, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it? Okay. I mean, yeah. I mean, yes. To me,
what has to happen to you for you to believe?
Okay, I'm not going to be a party pooper. Here's the thing, the God thing. I'm not, until I wake up in the morning and walk outside and the clouds open up and I hear an old man's voice that says, I'm God, I'm here, I'm watching over you, I love you. Until
Maybe
that
it's
happens.
Not a man.
Fair. But no. Until it's got to be.
You got to get
more tangible.
In the face.
Yeah, tangible. There you go. That's the word I'm looking for. I'm sorry, Tracie.
That's okay. That's quite
Yep.
okay.
Yeah.
Like I said, I wasn't expecting that to happen to me that night, sitting in there reading that book. So I withheld it from my fiance at the time for obvious reasons, as I just said. I then sent an email to two of my good friends that I've known for 25 plus years in the UK who are spiritualist mediums, and I tell them what happened. They said to me, Tracie, this is not the work of Tracie. This is not the work of angels.
Owie, Andy.
Oh,
right. This is not the work of angels. They don't need to flip lights on and off. They are of a different dimension. They don't do that. This is your dad communicating with you. And I said, oh my God. I said, I thought it could be, but I wasn't sure because my dad was the biggest skeptic ever. And I used to say to my dad and my mum on Skype, because they were in the UK, I'm here in the US, Skype with them on Sundays and say, look, I know you don't want to talk about this, but whoever passes before the other, will you please promise to give me a sign that you're okay, that you made it and that you're okay? I said, because I know that other side exists. It's real. Well, my dad would roll his eyes and he'd look away and he'd say, okay, Tracie, like he's appeasing me, And I said, okay, so I thought, okay. So we leave it at that. But boy, it came full force, April 2018. And what he does is he switches the light on in the guest bedroom. And he does it every single month without fail. There's just 2 months he missed, which was February 2020 and September 2020. I don't know why. No light was switched on. I've got photographs at 2:15 in the morning where the light's on. I get up to, I had a cat that was, I lost her 2 months ago. She was 19. She was diabetic. She had kidney issues. She had pancreatitis. I lost her brother who turned 18 the year before. But with this 19-year-old, because she had kidney issues, I'd have to get up in the night. I haven't slept properly for 3.5 years because of taking care of her and giving her wet food in the night every couple of hours to feed her. So I'd have to get up to give her food. And that's how I could see that light on there in the guest room. So when I had Tony and Cherie on my show with KGRA, when it was just audio, when it was just radio, he told me about, the Evox and got to know that he was building this and it was a phenomenal thing. And I reached out to Tony and I said, hey, could we possibly do a test to see if I could reach my dad? Tony very kindly said, of course, I'll help you try and reach your dad. So the first test that we did, and Tony sent me the audio of this. You can hear Tony saying, and by the way, when Tony switches that Evox on, you can hear spirits flocking to the box and saying, hi, Tony. Hey, Tony.
Oh, my goodness.
I was dumbfounded.
Wow.
They call him by name and they're saying, hi, Tony.
That gives me goosebumps.
Yeah. And Tony would say, hi, hello, hello. Now, I need you spirits just to back away from the device a moment because I'm looking for a certain gentleman and I'm looking for the gentleman of the name Dan Austin. And Dan, if you can hear me, I'm a very good friend of your daughter's and she would love to hear a message from you tonight if you're here. Are you with me, Dan? Can you hear me? Well, the first thing we hear is a yes. And it was clear. And it was in my dad's tone. So I knew it was my dad. My dad was a quiet man. He wasn't eccentric or extrovert or anything like that. Very, very quiet man, and said very little. That's all we got, yes. Then we tried it again a few weeks later. And I thought, you know what? I'll send Tony a photograph of Dad and I. When my mom and my dad came to Las Vegas for my birthday in 2011, one of the years they came. And we're in a nice restaurant in Las Vegas, and my mother takes a photograph of me and Dad, and then Dad takes a photograph of me and my mom. And so the one of me and my dad I have as a screensaver on my cell phone. So I send that picture to Tony because I like the picture, just so Tony could see who my dad is. I didn't know Tony was going to use it in the test. And we have it on audio, and he's holding up this photograph, and he's turned on the Evox and the device. And again, he's asking spirits to step to one side. He's looking for a specific gentleman of the name Dan Austin. And he said, Dan, I'm holding up this photograph, and I'd like you to tell me who's in this photograph, because you should recognize both of these people. One of them is you. Who is the other person? Well, I couldn't believe it. We couldn't believe it. You hear my dad say, "That's me daughter."
Aww.
And I was shut the front door. I didn't know whether to laugh, cry. I didn't know what to do. I was just full.
All the above, Tracie. You do all the above.
Full of emotion.
Yeah.
I had not heard my dad speak since he passed in November of 2017.
God.
Until then.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
We couldn't believe it.
Story.
Yeah, we could not believe it. That's me daughter. Wow. And let me tell you why he said me. Where I'm from in the UK, which is just outside of Manchester, that's kind of our slang for the word my.
Yeah.
A little bit like if you're Scottish or Irish and you say me, that's me car, that's me mum, that's me dad, that's me dog. It's just slang. It's the way we talk.
Was he a football fan? Manchester United all the way?
Manchester United. But because he's from Stoke-on-Trent, of course, the local team, Stoke, red and white, Stoke, big fan of Stoke. But then, going further afield, Manchester. Yeah. But yeah, loved his football, and we just couldn't believe it. And I've played that EVP in my shows. So if people go to my show, they talk like pirates there. Oh, I'm matey.
Marco.
So
Marco,
my wife is from Glasgow. We talk like that. Yeah, we do talk like that. We talk funny. We talk funny.
I think it's fantastic. I've studied languages my whole life, and I just love hearing different languages spoken, and it does look different than what you would study it here in the States. Mm-hmm. I had to figure that out quickly, that there's different dialects and different languages. So you may know a language, but you may not. I mean, you could still walk into their country and they'll know you're absolutely an idiot because of the way you pronounce the words, or the cadence of your language, or there's so many different things that are involved in speech that we don't think about on a regular basis. But
that's right. Yep, exactly.
It's beautiful.
So that's why that's why I had to write the last chapter in the book called Surviving Beyond, because my dad evidently has survived beyond, like we all do. Consciousness survives. And Tony said to me, every time my dad would visit, I'd send Tony a little message and say, Dad visited, he put the light on again. And I'd tell him the time, and he'd say to me, well, the next time he comes to do that, try and get an EVP on your cell phone. So I would use the cell phone on my iPhone. And of course, I can't hear anything audibly. I have to send it off to Tony to clear up the whole thing. And then he'd send it back to me, and I can hear it. And I did this a number of times. And one time he put the light on, and I'm sitting there in the corner of the room with my phone on record. And I'm talking to the light as if he's physically there in the room. And I said, okay, Dad, have you been to see Mom? Have you been to see Mom, my sister? Have you paid them a visit? I'm sure you have.
They're still alive, correct?
Yeah, they're still in the UK. Yeah, my mom and my sister are still in the UK. And I'd say, I really hope you're okay, Dad. I really hope you're okay. I'd love to know you're okay. Well, after I'd said that sentence, what I heard my dad say in a whisper was, I'm all right.
That's
And
sweet.
that's what my dad would say. We always just say,
so sweet.
yeah, because my dad was not a talker. He was so quiet. And you say, Dad, are you okay? I'm all right. I'm all right. Don't worry about me. I'm all right. And those are his words. And he said it in a whisper. I'm all right.
Me love.
Yeah.
Well, what's funny is that you
Yeah.
saying that is so sweet. So my grandmother just passed away during
I'm
COVID
sorry. Oh,
because she was in a nursing home, and it was the most heartbreaking thing because an entire year we missed of being with her, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So what she would say is every time you saw her was, "Hey, Granny, how you doing?" And she'd look at you because she was ornery, and she'd say, "I'm doing without." So if I get a message,
Doing without.
I'm
There
doing
you go.
without. I'm like, you dirty old lady. And
He's still thinking about it, man.
That's hilarious.
Props to
so if
Granny.
I get a message from my grandmother, it's going to be doing without.
Doing without.
I love it.
At least you get one that's sweet. My grandmother was just nasty. She had tons of kids.
Wow.
Tiff, do this. Read some. We've got some questions, comments.
Yes,
Share
I
that.
will.
Yeah,
Yes.
go for it.
All right. So we have a few people who have said some things, and Sherry Trimble, she says that you have to experience it, then you will believe and understand. And I think that is a big part of experiencers' lives, is that we feel the truth within us. It's just everyone else outside of us. We seek that validation.
That's correct.
When we don't necessarily need it.
Yeah.
How many times do you have to experience the same thing over and over for you to believe that it is really happening?
That's right.
And so that inner truth is what we should believe. And we need to
Absolutely.
believe it. And I believe it's just similar to that gut instinct. Everyone has that gut instinct, that natural insight, that natural, maybe even psychic ability. We have the abilities. We just have been told to ignore them for most of our adult life. And I think that that's part of the problem. So I do like that she says this. So getting back to Kevin, here's another one. Sherry also says, and maybe you don't see it, Kevin, because you're skeptical. So maybe that's the truth. We will find out, because I am going to bombard him at Contact at the Compound, and that man is going to see something. I guarantee it. It's just
No.
don't know what it's gonna be.
For the record, I'm very open-minded. I mean,
Right.
if it's there, it'll find me. I'm not like doing this to the paranormal world. I'm an enthusiast, but
Yes.
you got to still win me over. Not every light in the sky, not every bump in the dark is something paranormal.
And you have to have a healthy sense of skepticism, even if you are a believer. That's absolutely
exactly.
Yeah, you do.
should.
Okay.
There's nothing wrong with being skeptical. It's when we have debunkers.
Well,
Yeah.
Totally hit
debunkers.
it on the head and
Yeah,
just
to
won't
me,
accept.
those guys, the was it Michael Shermer? I'm throwing his name out because I know he's one of the more famous not debunker. He's a skeptic. The guys that I remember hearing a story with something like, who I'm talking about, right? Michael Shermer, right? Okay,
yeah.
He was sharing one of his skepticisms on something, and his evidence was he heard it from somebody. I'm like, shut the fuck up. I mean, do your homework. I mean, at least, yeah. I mean, here, I believe that Tiffany experiences things. I believe in her. I know her. Tracie, I'm believing you.
Yeah.
No, not everything is that I mean, it's great, fantastic stories, but I can't buy them all. I
Yeah.
need to.
Sometimes they're very fantastical. And that's the hard part, is because we do see such strange things that don't even process in our brains correctly sometimes.
Right.
And it takes a long time to even process them before we can get them out of our mouth.
But what I've also said all along on this ride, Tiffany, that you and I have been on, you're the experiencer. I'm the fanboy. I'm an enthusiast. I'm on the outside looking in. You have a connection that I don't. And
we're going to get you there, boy.
That's just the way it is. But I do think that along this ride, especially hanging with you every week and some weekends, that maybe whatever you're experiencing, the connection you have with ET or whatever it is, that if I'm meant to see something, experience something, you're kind of holding my hand during this process and almost, I don't know, giving the approval or blessing for me for this to happen. But I'm game.
There's a lot of different types of experiences too.
Right,
not everybody, when a lot of people think about UFOs and aliens and they're on a very uneducated level, they think of alien anal probes as being the only type of experience that they have. I am so sorry. That is not the norm.
What it's all about. No.
And I mean, honestly, I've heard one person say that, and I don't think that that's something. Either it's been blocked a lot and often, and thank you for that. They have maybe good drugs, like when you go and get a colonoscopy, you're like, I don't want to do this, and they're like, I still don't want to. They're like, it's over. So hopefully that's happening more often if that's the case. But not every experience is so traumatic that you have to like totally push it down in the back of your recesses of your brain.
That's true.
And the good ones are the ones that keep me interested. The good experiences, the good visits, the good interactions are the ones that keep me going, because I know that there are good people out there. There's bad people, there's good people. There's bad entities, there's good entities. And being able to regulate what you are allowing into your home is part of the learning process. Not everybody can control what goes on. But when you try to make affirmative statements and actually set out some ground rules, it can help. And
Right.
I know that from experience. And that's the same thing with psychic activity or hauntings. You have to set some ground rules. You have to learn how to live and navigate this world. We don't have a whole there is not one book out there that says, here's what you do, and this is the only thing that's going to work. Sorry, I haven't come across that yet.
No, there's no manual for this.
So I'm going to
there
send them
was
your way.
you say that, I got to share this. John Greenwald, everybody knows John Greenwald. Where's this at? Tracy, I don't know if you've seen this. I heard this story before, and he wound up sharing it on his. He put this out in 2016, but I had heard this before.
Yes.
Do you know of this?
Yes.
The Fire Officer's Guide to Disaster Control, an official federal type of document where
protocol.
Long story short, there's a chapter, chapter 13, in an enemy attack and UFO potential, where first responders, in this case firemen or whatever, if they come across a UFO or an alien, how to.
Are they supposed to shoot it down with a big spray of water, or what's the? I didn't read that one, actually.
There's a lot of. I'll send it to you. But my point is, that
there has to be a reason for that article.
Yeah, to put something out there. Yeah. So
right.
They're aware. They're aware of lots of things.
Mhm.
We're kind of rounding third and heading for home on the show, Tracie, and thanks so much for hanging with us.
Oh, you're very welcome.
so
It's been an
good.
absolute pleasure.
Such a sweetheart.
It's been fun.
You obviously very into the whole UFO UAP thing. What was your take on the UAP report that dropped on the June 26th?
Well, I think like everybody else, disappointed, but knew that it wasn't going to be any disclosure of any kind.
Sure.
That was not it. But yeah, disappointed. But I think it's a start. Also, it's a start to something that will probably progress. The door has been opened.
Right.
So who knows now what is going to follow.
They've opened Pandora's box right now.
They've opened Pandora's box. I still can't get used to saying UAP. I won't. For me, it's UFO. It's not an unidentified aerial phenomena. It's not. It's a UFO.
I can't get over Tracie saying, I can't.
I can't. That's my British.
I know.
Well, I can't get over it. UAP. It was UAP. Yes, UAP.
Right.
Yeah, it's always UFO.
Well, Tiffany, you've mentioned this before in past shows where it's all about the verbiage. It's
terminology.
Yeah. And they seem to throw curveballs and change it up. And you've shared that story.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
That's by design, right?
I think it is. I think that they try to keep us confused and dumb us down.
That's right.
Change the rules on us. And that, working with the military and having a intelligence community right in my own home growing up, I think that there's a lot of deny until you can't deny it anymore. And we're at that point. There's a point where now people are connecting through the internet. They're having these conferences. People are experiencing this and they're coming together. And you can't keep that down. I mean, it's been hindered over the past year and a half because of travel restraints and stuff, but you still can't completely shut it down. They try to shut us down every once in a while, but you know what? You go to Facebook jail for a little bit, we're going to come back. We're going to go on a different platform because this is a current topic that will remain one of life's biggest mysteries and conspiracies, and it is most important.
Exactly.
Well said.
It truly is.
All right. This is something, guys, listening, watching, that we are introducing tonight. Tracie is our the first person that will handle
guinea pig. Guinea pigs are super cute too.
They're cute. They're soft. So
furry, so cute.
Just to kind of people watching, listening, hear me out. No offense, and we're all present company. There's all these podcasts and UFO shows, blah, blah, blah. We're one of many, and we love and respect all our fellow show hosts, broadcasters. But we try to be a little different. Tiff, we try to. I think we are. I mean, we're
Candle game.
Candle. The occasional orbs flying over behind you, your red lips, and all this stuff. So, what I do, and long story short, I do some other podcasts too outside of Tiffany, and I get her permission because it's a couple thing, wife, husband podcast thing. So one of the things I do on
you're gonna get your kneecaps busted.
Yeah, no. One of the things I do.
Brent's gonna hear that, and
Brent knows where I stand in the pecking order. I'm number 2.
Exactly.
So. I do what I call like round of shots. I do rapid fire on some of my other shows. And so tonight we're going to introduce this. It's we're labeling it Behind the Secrets. In this case, it's Behind the Secrets with Tracie Austin. And we get to throw some quick rapid fire questions that are non-paranormal, non-show related. So Tracie, play along. Tiffany, you sent me some of these. I've got literally 30 that I'm going to throw at you, so it's quick. Ready?
Should I be afraid?
Be
very afraid.
You're very afraid.
All right.
Fire
let's
away.
do this. First concert.
Say that again.
First concert you attended.
First concert. I feel like I'm beating the time, trying to beat the
No,
time.
there's no time.
I feel like I'm on the clock.
I'm not going to buzz or. No.
The first concert. I can't think.
I can't think.
But one that does
It's
stand out
probably
in my
England,
mind.
right?
Right. First concert.
Were you hanging around with the Rolling Stones in their one of their final farewell tours?
No, even though I do like the Rolling Stones. One concert that stands out in my mind, it's not my first because I can't think of my first, but one that stands out is a Bryan Adams concert in Las Vegas.
Oh, cool. Cool.
Love Bryan Adams.
All right. That's one. Number 2, texting or talking?
Talking.
3, favorite day of the week?
Saturday. I was born on a Saturday.
Favorite city in the U.S. besides the one you live in, which is Sin City for you right now, right?
No, I moved to Sedona.
Oh, that's right. Because of the Beyonce.
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah. Favorite city besides the one you live in?
I'd have to say, I like California. I like California as a state.
The question was city.
Studio City, because I'm a sighting.
All right. Would you rather be able to speak every language in the world or be able to talk to animals?
Talk to animals.
Tiffany, I promise I will do these for you because you will get great answers to. So animals, all right.
I want to be a Dr. Doolittle.
Oh,
I love that.
favorite holiday?
Favorite holiday. Favorite holiday. I was going to say Christmas, but I don't know. I don't have a favorite holiday anymore because of my dad on the other side of the veil.
Okay. Playing the dad card on me. All right.
I know. Can I plead the fifth on some of these?
No, you can't. On a scale of 1 to 10, and this is not a stereotype question, how good of a driver are you? 1 being worse, 10 being good.
10. Because you know why? I've never had touch wood, I've never had an accident.
All right.
Very nice.
Your insurance rates are low. Good for you. Yes. All right.
Beyond I'm out of Las Vegas.
Yeah. Invisibility or super strength?
Invisibility.
If you could travel back in time, what period would you go to?
I've never been asked these questions before, so I have to think for a moment.
There's no timer. I mean,
yeah, I feel like I'm trying to race against the clock.
It's not on KGRA. We could go over.
Yeah, we can go a little.
You could go over. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Bill's not in our ear. 2 minutes or
2 minutes to Jimmy.
That's right. Yeah. Maybe ancient Egypt.
Okay. Give me a pet peeve. What would turn you into stone cold, Tracie Austin?
Pet peeve. Yeah. Noisy eaters.
Oh, yeah.
I can't stand noisy eaters.
Smacking and the slurping. Yeah. Oh, I get mad about that too.
That's a pet peeve.
Yeah. I keep asking questions. She'll say the word can't. All right. Favorite season?
Ooh, summer.
Last Halloween costume?
I've never had a Halloween costume.
I was kind of really hoping you'd say Catwoman, but
man.
All right.
I might go there sometime.
Yeah. Favorite ice cream flavor?
What's it called?
Or gelato.
Tiffany, it's hers.
I can't think of the name. I just said can't. I can't think of the name. I can't think.
Ticker. Give me
It's not Neapolitan. It's the other.
Help her out, too.
Can you help me out?
Spumoni.
Spumoni. That's it.
I just had that yesterday.
Oh, really? I love Spumoni.
All right. Is double dipping at a party ever acceptable?
No.
Except from the skittling jar back in the 90s.
I like that, Tim. That's good.
That's Kevin's answer, by the way.
All right. Name one of the 7 dwarfs.
Sleepy.
Cake or pie? Cake or pie?
I like both.
visuals on these.
I know shepherd's pie. Listen. I make a mean
That's
shepherd's
not a
pie.
true pie. He's talking about dessert.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a pie to me.
It is. We
still
have that
kind
at
of-
least. We have that at least once a month. So I'm with you.
Okay. Mine is Gordon Ramsay recipe. I love it. He's great.
Mm.
Yeah, it's
I'll have to look it
fabulous.
up.
I'll say cake.
All right, fair. All right, this one is more than just a one-word answer. If you could ask God one question, what would it be?
Return my dad.
That's not a question.
It's not a question. That's a statement with
It
an
is.
exclamation.
Can you bring my
Can you?
Can
Will
you
you
bring my
return my
daddy
dad?
back?
All right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Will you return my dad, please?
All
There
right.
you go.
What is your ideal outside temperature?
I'd say about 85.
Giving presents or getting presents?
Giving, because I'm a Cancerian. I love to give. I love to see people smile and be happy.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me wrong. It's not nice to receive gifts, but
Fair. From 1 to 10, how hot do you like your shower water? 10 being the hottest.
ooh,
These are some crazy questions. Tim.
they are, aren't they? Who came up with these?
Yeah.
He must have been bored at work today.
That's right.
No, I Googled, guys.
Day job.
Hmm.
Hashtag shitty day job.
IT. What can IT do? God do. All right. So,
I like hot baths and I like hot showers, but I'd
Okay.
say about an 8 if it's a
Okay.
shower.
ask permission or beg for forgiveness.
I think you should always do the right thing and ask for permission.
She is engaged, right? All right. Oh, what's something you could eat for a week straight?
Oh, fish and chips.
Oh. How would you rate your
Do you use
karaoke?
vinegar? Malt
Yes,
vinegar?
lots
Okay.
of it.
Okay.
Or my shepherd's pie.
Amen. I'm going to look up that recipe.
You
Look at
should.
it.
Gordon Ramsay shepherd's pie. Delish.
All right. How would you rate your karaoke skills on a scale of 1 to Mariah Carey?
Oh my God. Well, let me say this.
You're a musician, so
I know.
did
I
it go
know.
against-
I'm not a Mariah
Well,
Carey
no, but-
fan,
okay.
but I'm a Celine Dion fan.
Okay. Let's use the
I can shower. I think I'm Celine Dion in the shower.
I love that answer.
Yes, I think
Great
I'm
answer.
Celine Dion in the shower.
Respect. Much respect. All right. Did I say this earlier? What temperature do you like your thermostat at? No, I said outside temperature. So thermostat. So
Thermostat.
yeah.
Well, through these days, because of my age, 70, 69,
Amen.
70.
That's what I sleep at. I love that temperature.
And this is Tiffany. In your heart of hearts, do snitches get stitches?
Snitches get stitches.
That was
Possibly,
from my-
yes.
That was from my 8-year-old, by the way.
Respect.
Right. Possibly. Depends who the person is that's snitching.
All right. This is a little more serious. Do you believe in heaven or hell?
I certainly believe in heaven. I think there may. I don't know if hell is there, but I think there are certain levels to transcend to in heaven, depending.
Gotcha. Another Tiffany one. Toilet paper over or under? That's a great question. And
Over.
this is a make or break for me. Don't come in my house if you
I'm sure.
depending on the answer. Over. or
Over.
under? Oh, respect. All right, Tiffany, I'm gonna read this verbatim, and I don't know what the hell was going on here.
Oh God.
You can be a superhero for a day, but at any given moment you have the urge to sneeze for 3 minutes. Would you do it? Before you answer that question, Tracie, what the hell is going on over there at your house for that question to come up?
Yeah.
He said we were at Fuji's with my best friend and my daughters, and we were coming up with these questions. And he goes, "Are you high?" And I was like, "No."
No, you
And
said not yet.
And I said, "Not yet." And then my daughter wrote that question. He goes, "Is she high?" I said, "Not yet." Because we were just in a giggly mood at dinner.
Right, which we're having fun here, but
No sneezing. No.
no sneezing.
No
Well,
sneezing.
Well, you don't sneeze. You just feel like you're going to at any given time.
Okay, but you said
Horrible.
you have the urge to. Oh, you urge to sneeze for 3 minutes. Not you're actually. Would you do it?
At any
No.
time.
Okay.
Hold it.
All right, we're almost done here. Where's it at?
Let me give
on
one.
On another. I'll give you. I'll let you ask that last one.
Okay.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how good? 1 being the worst. How good are you at keeping secrets? I gotta throw that in for our show.
10. Because I respect whoever's telling me what I should not say in, about a secret. I respect that.
He is a good person, Tiffany. I thought we were going to break her tonight.
I try.
All right, the last one from me, and then I'll let Tiffany ask whatever she wants. What inspires you?
What inspires me? There's so many things actually that inspire me. But if, we're talking about getting up first thing in the morning, seeing a nice blue sky to start a fresh day.
I like that.
A nice blue sky.
With an old man in the sky saying, I am here.
Right. Or yes
or
or
a
no.
woman.
Or a woman. Yeah, just a nice blue sky to start a new day.
Absolutely love it. Tiffany, you got something for?
So this is Tracie. I know you probably know that my husband is a Bigfoot investigator, and so our house.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, we got a lot of crazy pillow talk that's just like in and out of reality constantly, right? And we enjoy the hell out of it.
Love it.
So, so should Bigfoot be able to get an assault rifle and start to fight back?
Why not? Why not?
That poor guy has been harassed for thousands of years.
Yes, absolutely.
Still the world champion hide and seek player, by the way.
Absolutely.
Wow. Well, I believe in Bigfoot. I know that Bigfoot exists. I haven't seen one myself. I just feel that it does exist. Plus, my ex-husband's grandfather that used to live in Canada busted his knee running away from a Bigfoot.
Okay, we need to talk. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a horrible accident.
Yes.
But the story you get from that.
Many years ago, he was, I can't remember the full story, but he was running away from a Bigfoot and blew out his knee completely. And of course, Renee Barnett, who is a friend of mine and a fellow KGRA host, she did Bigfootville many years ago with an English production company. They went out to Oklahoma and they filmed a documentary called Bigfootville, which has aired many, many times. And she, great documentary. And she talked about the fact that people had seen this Bigfoot striding a 5-foot fence. Striding a 5-foot fence. I mean, I'm 5'2". So when you think about somebody striding over me,
yeah.
Oh my God, how big could this thing be? And it was seen by locals in the town and a medicine man that she talked about who'd seen this Bigfoot. But yeah, she produced that documentary, Bigfootville.
Wow.
So you said that you would be the animal whisperer, correct?
Yes.
Do you have a pet now? I know that you had 2 kitties who passed over the Rainbow Bridge. Mm-hmm. Do you have another kitty?
Yes. Her name's Britt.
Oh,
I didn't name her that. My guy named her that after me.
That's cute. Cute.
Yeah.
Cute.
She's cute.
Not to be confused with #free Britney, right?
No.
Yeah, I'm just saying. For the record, I got to show this guys. This, I'm people watching. You can Tracie Austin, our guest, Tiffany Mack, my beautiful co-host, on this ride that we're on. There's another blonde in our lives, guys. Ron, check us out. Andy said that to me.
Oh my goodness.
Ron is like, man, I'm telling you, I did a double take. I'm like, who is this body? And I'm like, oh, it's Ron.
Oh my goodness. Is he blonde or is he more like a red strawberry blonde?
I don't know.
I hate to say it. He looks sort of like David Spade.
Yes, he does.
Oh,
He does
yeah.
actually.
So, Andy, thanks for sending that.
Thank you,
Good stuff.
Andy.
Oh my goodness.
Tracie, I know people connect with you on our audience, connect with you on KGRA, but for those who don't, where can people find you but outside of KGRA?
Outside of KGRA, on a Sunday night, 10 p.m. to midnight, Eastern Standard Time, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn. That's about it. I'm not on TikTok or anything like that.
Me neither.
No.
Tiffany.
I'm not on
No.
Twitter, and Kevin keeps writing this at Tiffany Mac ET. I don't know what the hell that means.
But that's where they can find me. My website, the TracieAustinShow.com, is being updated at the moment. It severely needs updating. So my manager has a guy that is working on that for me, and we're going to update it and put some great things on there. But that's about it right now. The YouTube channel, I have a YouTube channel where you can see some of the early shows we did at the studio in California back in 2002 to 2006. My hair was completely different. I was completely different.
I saw that channel.
Oh, you did?
I'm going to keep looking at it.
Oh. Remember, we did win 3 awards for it now.
You
we
did.
That's awesome.
We
Yeah.
did 3 Tally Awards for it, yes. And they were only 30-minute shows because that's the only time slot we could get at that particular studio. Yeah, we could only do, but it ran for 6 years. And
How do you get 30 minutes worth of material? Because you know that you want to.
That's a good point.
Very difficult. Yeah, it's
Oh,
very,
gosh.
very, very difficult. I had to really have everything down to point to ask all the crucial things, you know.
See, then those weren't conversations. Those were, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, those were really interviews. I mean, you had, strict, I mean, not strict, but definite questions, and
That's
you had
right.
it. Yeah. I mean, could you imagine us trying to do a 30-minute or even an hour? I talked to Tony and Cherie. I'm like, what the hell are you only doing an hour for? I mean, their show is amazing.
Kevin, we're lucky that we're able to get an audience for more than a minute and a half on some of these the past ones that we've done.
Yeah.
We're always trying to improve, and that's sort of the goal, right?
Well, it is
You
a
have a
goal. And
great
then when you
show.
have guests on like Tracie, that just ups the ante for us every
I know.
week.
We've got a lot to live up to, and it's very difficult.
No, you've got a great show, and listen, you have a really nice feel to the show. It's laid back, it's funny, but it's also serious. It's everything. It's all of the above. So obviously, you have a great crowd that likes to watch you and
Tracie,
interact with you.
We take it from a point of love and respect for the people in this field and the people who have experienced these things. But as I know, if you don't laugh sometimes, you can lose your shit. And sometimes you have to lighten that load.
Yes, you do.
And be able, the hardest thing is to be able to laugh at yourself and be very comfortable in your own skin. And
That's
I think that that's very important for other people to know that, we are serious. We do respect this. We have a very large, strong interest in this, and we want to be advocates for this world and the people that we are raising in this new age that's coming. And the experiencers that are coming into this world are just rich with activity and skills and talents and artistic ability and all of this. It's important to be able to laugh because sometimes you could cry.
That's right. Listen, laughter is the best medicine, they say. And I think that is correct. Listen, I used to laugh a lot when I was a kid. My nan gave me a nickname of the laughing hyena.
Love it. Fine.
Because I would laugh. My grandmother used to say to me, Tracie, you would laugh if your ass was on fire.
One of the questions, one of those rapid questions, it literally was like 31 or 32. What was the nickname a family member gave you when you were a kid?
Oh, that's a good one.
You just said it.
I just said it. The laughing hyena.
I love that.
The laughing hyena.
All right. I'm starting to believe in all this
See?
stuff. I'm slowly drifting on your all side.
Amen. She called
Tracie-
that one out of the blue, Kevin.
Yeah, she did.
Yes.
Yeah, very
Yes.
good. Tracie,
And,
go ahead.
and my
No,
fiance
please.
is now a believer of
Is
my
he?
dad putting that light on. Yes, because he's witnessed it for himself when I've not been in the house.
Oh, he
Wow.
has witnessed.
Yes. So he's believed that for a good few years now.
Wonderful. That's awesome.
All right. TA, Stone Cold, Tracie Austin. Great show tonight. Pleasure. You have anytime you want to come on hang with.
Oh,
Actually,
fabulous.
Tiffany and I, we're going to reach out to you because Tiffany and I have said our egos are not that big. A little big, but not too big. Where we will occasionally bring on a guest co-host with the right guest, and so stay tuned. You might get that memo to come and hang
Absolutely.
with us.
And listen, you come and hang with me on a Sunday night, both of you.
We do.
Yes,
On my show.
absolutely.
We should
Give
do
some
that.
love to KGRA. They are
I will.
the best. Ray, Bill,
Yeah,
Eric,
great
all
guys.
those guys.
Great guys.
Great platform. Tracie, thanks so much for hanging with us.
You
tonight.
are welcome. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank
Tiffany,
you so much.
take us
Thank
home.
you.
Well, we are still in the works planning our contact at the compound. It is rapidly approaching, and we are making some solid arrangements. We have some people that are on planes ready to get here, and we're really excited to share that with you coming up soon. Trying to finalize the guest list, and I'm trying to acquire lots of menu items. My brain is like sort of fried when it comes to it, but
Chef
we're going to
Sipley.
make it happen. Yeah, we're going to make it happen, people. So stick with us and check us out next week. Cheers. My glass is
Cheers.
empty.
Cheers.
Yeah, thanks so much. Nick
love that
Redfern
one.
next week, Tiffany. Just saying. Next week.
All right.
Nick
Next
Redfern.
one. Yep.
All right. Peace out, guys. Universal Secrets signing off. Much love. Take care. This has been Universal Secrets.